Welcome to the All-American Otaku Show. Today's subject is about adventure. The adventures of growing up, the adventures of traveling from one area to the other, or adventure to exploring the unknown, or adventure to creating a new world. The first anime I'm going to talk about that talks about adventure is none other than the anime Pokemon. Pokemon, there's a lot of people who don't realize that it's anime because it's very childish. It's very family friendly. There's no real fan service except for one episode that was banned in the U.S. where there was a bikini contest, which Ash's mom, who's the main character, won. The idea that the characters in Pokemon for the longest time stay at the age 10 or 11 or 12, which the anime's been going on since the late 90s and still going on today, even though they moved on from their main character, Ash. And Pokemon is started off with a creator who thought, I collect bugs. What about making a game or an anime or a manga or cards that you collect things? This idea that the all anime, not anime, all Pokemon are born from eggs, as well as all Pokemon have various different counteract there, like ghost Pokemon are subject to psychic, and psychic is subject to dark, and fighting is subject to this, and normal is subject to that. It's the idea of collecting everything and trying to catch every single one of these monsters and stuff what made it a very popular game, as well as a very popular card game. This video game, this anime, as well as this card game was made by Nintendo, who brought us such greats as Super Mario Brothers, as well as Legend of Zelda, or even Metroid and various other things. Pokemon has become one of the major, if not the major franchise in anime history. Even people who don't know what anime is generally know what Pokemon is. There are several generations now that have grown up with Pokemon, as well as the idea of video games and such of Pokemon and collecting, which has moved on for further and further and further on. Pokemon has become super huge over the years. It's gone came in thing from cereal boxes to plushies. There's even Pokemon stores in Japan that focus just on Pokemon stuff. There's also a very popular game that came out called Pokemon Go, where you travel outside and search our world for Pokemon. And the Pokemon will appear and you throw the Pokeball and you try to catch it. There's Pokestops where you get more Pokeballs. There's now battles in there. There's also various different gyms. There's also areas where you battle and destroy other more Pokemon to recapture it for your side and such. Pokemon has become this huge mainstream. They even kind of idea as a fighting game where you fight Pokemon versus Pokemon. There was even Pokemon who appeared in the anime Super Smash Brothers, such as Pikachu, Jigglypuff, and so forth. All Pokemon is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger over the years. That there's even more and more aspects and more merchandise there than probably anything. There's many people who say Pokemon is their first indoor experience to anime, whether when they were a little kid. The idea that the Pokemon is very innocent in a way by trying to catch things, and the idea of the spirit of childhood grows up, and the idea of adventure is there that you go and travel and go to new worlds and experience new things. On the counterpoint, when Pokemon became more popular, this anime came out called Digimon, where there's a digital world where you find digital monsters and you start to collect these digital monsters as they has digivolve. This has become a more serious anime than Pokemon, as certain characters die. Sometimes the Digimon dies, and several things. The idea that these digital areas trying to take over the world, the adventure aspect is going there to the digital world, trying to capture these monsters and fight these things and to save the world rather than just say, I want to catch them all. Digimon, in its own right, had its own clever theme music. Digimon, digital monsters, didn't you find out champions? Digimon also had the aspect of what is what is childhood? What is the idea that one person or one creature, as well as the group of friends, can make a serious difference? And aside from the idea that Digimon is different than Pokemon, there's some people who always make an unfair comparison, say Digimon is just a ripoff of Pokemon, which it isn't. Digimon has its own fan following. Some people like Digimon more than Pokemon. Some people like Pokemon more than Digimon, and so forth. The next anime I'm going to talk about adventure is Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone is not like the magical monsters or various monsters of Pokemon, but the idea of science. In this world, everyone is turned to stone. No one knows why, no one knows what happens. And first, after 1,000 years, the professor he gets out of the stone and then he's like, okay, I'm free from the stone. Now I got to try to recreate the world. He releases his friend because his friend is more muscular and tougher than he is and stronger. And he uses various different science to rescue other people, as well as create various things that exist now into the idea of science is reborn in a world reborn with science. This anime is really great when it comes to its talking about science, as well as learning about various different chemistry, different aspects of plants, different lava, geology. This is a great anime to for people to watch to understand some of the harder sciences that are harder to learn for kids or teenagers or even adults. This anime aspects of what is life and how does life keep on going. They also talk about how the people who are still alive in this primitive area are descendants of the people who were in space and they came onto this world and actually had their kids and various other things became part more and more aspects of these tribes as well as the main character Sanaku. I'm probably butchering the name. He summoned. He actually one of them. He wanted the tough bull kid or real life caveman, which is basically he was a fighter and this really tough wrestler and things as a teenager. But he looked at the world as he only wanted to bring back the people who he truly deserved to bring back, such as teenagers and under, and everyone else he would destroy because they wrecked the world in the first place. While the main character that says we need to bring back everybody and bring back science and bring back technology and bring back civilization to more of a prominent and more stronger aspect. This leads on to the final anime I'm going to talk about for adventure is Fairy Tale. Fairy Tale is the idea of a world with magic and friendship, as well as various aspects of guilds and so forth. It starts off with the main character, one of the main characters named Lucy, who has these celestial keys, who's in this magic area, and tries these celestial keys to open up these creatures called celestial creatures. Various once she finds are a part of the Gemini, which are various like Pisces or Taurus or Leo or things of that aspect. This anime also goes into the character Natsu, who's a dragon slayer, who has the ability to absorb fire, the ability to breathe fire, as well as you manipulate fire and such to use to his attacks. As most shonen, this character is not the smartest one in Tool in the Shed. Him and Lucy end up getting together. Then you find another character named Urza who joins them, who has the ability of equip magic to being able to pull swords and spears and armor and various other things from the celestial or spiritual magical world, kind of like a pocket dimension aspect. There's also this character called Gray who has the ability of forming ice, but he has an infliction that he always undresses himself into his underwear or even sometimes beyond that, and he does these ice powers and makes ice spears or ice creatures. He has the only ability to make stagnant creatures, while his friend, who he was trained about, has the ability to make flying and more inanimate creatures out of ice. They both have a rival because they believe they have to destroy this big giant demon that's trapped in the ice. They eventually do, and this leads on to various other adventures and more traveling aspects and what is the idea of friendship, the power of why everything is strong and everything was there. And this leads in here to Mr. Pat and his manga review. Thank you.
Today we're covering adventure. Uh, Generally, it's a long road to any of these stories. Adventure means that it's, we got one part from the journey to the to the end, or and some ongoing and not quite the end. The good news is this one's already ended, and it's called Doctor Stone. Um, I really like Doctor Stone because it's a lot of scientific endeavors, and in the anime itself, just diverting a little bit, they actually warn you not to do any of this stuff because it will cause potentially dangerous chemicals and stuff involved in a lot of this real scientific stuff. Well, back to the original topic. So basically, it's a post-apocalyptic science fiction guy story, and it was serialized and set up from 2017 to 2022. So eventually, the anime itself will eventually be done. Probably next year. I have to guess. But again, diverting a little bit. So we'll go for since there's a huge amount of repertoire of characters, I only will cover one. The main hero. His name is Senku Ichigami. He's basically genius level scientist, and amongst his peers, he was you know just knew a lot of scientific stuff, and actually showed his progression in the past, as far as he actually really delved into these books. So he was really good at learning all this stuff. He loved rockets too, so it's like he was very involved as far as this. So, anyways, this story is basically a petrified, uh, again, name derived from stone. Everybody, almost everybody's turned to stone. The only reason that there are some people around is because they are descendants of his dad, which, and his people, is when he was in doing a mission for NASA, and managed to avoid the petrification amongst all his astronaut friends. It's kind of like a mirror station. I don't know if it was ever really called that, but they managed to avoid that, and they created science type methods that would help them and help Zenku in the future, because his dad really had a foresight that he knew his son, despite being petrified, was going to be coming back. The cool story about Zenku is, my gosh, as soon as he turns petrified, he starts counting in seconds as far as how long he has been petrified. And he himself knew that date because he was actually counting the whole time as a petrified. A lot of these people, to correct us in the lore, petrification is just, their brains are still functioning. Though in the story itself, some people get broken apart, but they manage to put them back together, and they have a what's called a revival formula, which Senku himself developed and managed to free a lot of his friends. So, in a nutshell, he has a huge repertoire of friends. I'm not going to go into it. It's really a lot of characters in the story. That's the cool part about the story is that there's tons of background and story people that are befriended Zenku, and he's basically in the story. He's initially trying to bring back everybody, so he's following this plan bit by bit to bring up all civilization. In the long road, he's trying to figure out also what happened. I really like this one. 5 out of 5. The story is really long, but it's not boring. Well, with me, I love science stuff.
Welcome to the show where anime dreams come alive. Let's go! All-American Otaku vibe, diving deep into the anime tide. From the screen to the page, we're turning every stage. All-American Otaku, where worlds collide. From the 90s till now, the passion's been real. Anime manga, it's how we feel. Conventions and scenes, cooking up dreams. Japanese culture bursting at the seams. From the 90s till now, the passion's been real. Anime and manga, it's how we feel. Conventions and scenes, cooking up dreams. Japanese culture bursting at the seams. All-American Otaku vibe, diving deep into the anime tide. From the screen to the page, we're turning every stage. All-American Otaku, where worlds collide. And I'm there, Mr. Pat by my side, exploring every genre. Let's take that ride. From action to drama, it's all here. Community strong, let's make it clear. Otaku dreams, we're chasing the light.